Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another great, super cool radio interview. I'm your host, as always, Matthew Thomas. Thank you so much for tuning in. I have an awesome guest joining me at this time. He's a musician, actor, and music producer. Recently, he released a brand new single entitled The Wolf through Pavement Entertainment. Please welcome Wes Cage.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Of course. Awesome to have you on the podcast. I know we got like a lot to discuss, obviously, with the new single, The Wolf, the music video for it. You've been very busy for the last couple months.
Yes, indeed. And this song was written a while back, and it finally, we finally have released this on October 27th, and I'm liking the results so far.
Oh, no, for sure. I really like the single, but also I know, and we're going to be talking about a lot of The Wolf, throughout this interview, but also the music video for it. I was watching it before this interview, and I just really like the location you picked for it, and just a story being told.
Thank you so much. Yeah, the location is in downtown LA, a restaurant called Le Grand, which is just phenomenal. I mean, and they have a great ambiance, and you can also get quite a tremendous amount of kind of upscale fancy food for a reasonable price there. So it's a pretty cool place.
Oh no, it definitely looks like it. And how was like picking that restaurant? Like how did you guys like like make the connection, like pick it out and like film the video there?
Well, a family friend named Gary, he kind of showed us all the restaurant. We thought it was just so opulent and awesome looking. That especially the kind of darker walls and stuff in there was very dramatic, and especially for a music video that's as philosophically intense as The Wolf. It was thought it was elite.
Oh no, it definitely is. And again, I like the story being told in the music video. Also, I like the I believe it's the same character, like the person, the homeless looking person beginning, plus the person playing like the piano and stuff. Like, is that the same character throughout the whole video?
Absolutely is, yes.
Oh, right on. It looks incredible. I really like the skull kind of half mask that you have. Like, how did that come about? How did you make that?
Well, that was that mask, which I love too, was a original design of someone named Miriam Harat Union. She's a designer in LA, and she had started making some pretty unique um, jewelry and accessories, and the producers involved, they saw that from her, and we had to definitely incorporate that in the video, especially because of the wolf. The more elevated polarity. He kind of also has a not ominous, but there's an intimidating energy from him when the more destitute lower half is looking at him like, oh my goodness, who is this guy? So it really works.
Oh, it matched the vibe of the music video so well, and I just really like how it looked and how detailed it is as well.
Thank you so much.
So we talked a lot about the music video, but I do want to talk about the also the writing process for the Wolf. So like, when did you start like writing the Wolf? Like, when did this start like creating? When did you start creating the Wolf?
Well, Blasco and I, my manager, who is a man of just tremendous brilliance and legacy, he in 2021 he had me go on a kind of a series of writing sessions, and it was difficult because every single musician I worked with was brilliant, um, and every song that we made was also very catchy, and you know, also pretty exquisite. But the thing was is that the one I did with Keith Wallen of Breaking Benjamin, and then also I think a lot of it too was the concept, about the wolf, and it just something about it. Blasco felt that was the most opportune to go with first. So Keith and I did work remotely, um, and yeah, that it was amazing how we made that via digital means. It's amazing what you can do now. But after he had done that with me, I went in and did a vocal on it, and then we was off to the races.
Oh, that sounds really cool. Now, have you met Keith before this, or just guys just started writing together?
I never met him before this. This was the first time meeting. We went straight into a writing session in 5 minutes.
Oh, wow, wow. So how was like that chemistry of like just meeting somebody then going right into a writing session?
Well, I could tell he was just by kind of like I could intuitively tell based off his demeanor and the way he spoke and played music that he was just an extraordinarily evolved musician. Not an egoic guy too, so it would be very easy to write with him, and I feel like we both captured the same. We were both aware of the same concept, and yeah.
That's just so cool. Like that just to meet somebody, then just going right into a writing session, and have it work so well that the final product is The Wolf, a killer song. And again, I really like just the story being told throughout the song. It's just really cool. So like, how did like the concept and like what is like for anyone who hasn't checked out The Wolf, what is like the concept of The Wolf?
Thank you so much. The concept of The Wolf is about the dichotomy of the lower and higher self, which I really believe in, and it's something that someone doesn't have to be spiritual to believe. They could be an atheist or an agnostic and believe it, because there's part of us that's really elevated and that's capable of doing pretty much everything we want to do, and there's also a part of us that I don't like to look at as a darkness, because darkness isn't necessarily a bad thing, because I don't mean it as in like evil and stuff, but there's a part of us that's very low, and there's kind of a sick critic and narrator that could tell people that the world's better off without them, and that they can't accomplish what they want to do, and that they're a loser, all these things like that. And we wanted to really show that the importance of the higher self, and the wolf is another term for that, like becoming the go-getter, becoming the active and powerful force that pursues their dreams. And that's a huge thing about it. It's and also the people who are destitute, and it's only going to get worse when they believe that they're never going to be on their feet again. And that's just an example of when the lower half wins. When it's like maybe if these people were positive, they'd start. When these people do get positive about life, they do wind up getting on their feet because of some creative idea or something. But yeah.
Oh no, for sure, and definitely, it definitely, I picked it up and it resonates with me, because there's some days where like I'm like just in my own way and I'm my worst critic with stuff, and there's some days like, man, I'm on my goals, I got my mindset correct, like it's definitely, it's very fluid, too, and I expect for many people as well, they have some days where they're really hard on themselves or like down on themselves, and there's some days where like I'm the king of the world and I'm doing everything I want to do, kind of thing.
Absolutely. It's definitely a mixture, and there's so many fluctuations. It's amazing how the positive, more elevated part of the mind is very fluid and there's like a flow state, whereas the one that's negative, it's kind of like the person's freezing. They're freezing up. It's a very, it can really remove a lot of energy in someone. But I feel like if someone can give themselves like only 1 second of, not a super negative critic, but only a second of maybe the negative, to be aware of one perspective and then move on to 10 other perspectives that are positive.
Oh no, exactly, and with if you focus too much on like the negative, you become very stagnant with it. Things, you just get stuck in that mindset. No, it's good. You have to have any kind of criticism. It's good to have that way. We better yourself as a person, but don't get like stuck and like hung up and don't dwell on it, because then you're just going to become very stagnant and negative.
Absolutely. I mean, it even like There was one time when I was about 19 before I became I was able to do songwriting, but I wasn't able to do songwriting so spontaneously and extemporaneously and quick as I can do it now, which gives a more unfiltered sound that's more like instinctual. But there was one year where I only wrote a verse instead of, you know, now where I write, roughly 3 to 5 songs a month. So.
Oh no, for sure. And I'm curious, like your approach to music and music writing. Like has like your life experiences kind of like changed your approach and on music?
It has. It's I nowadays I see usually like a chorus or intro first with a kind of a graphic connected to it, which I really am happy about now that I see like a concept. Um, from there, I just expand as much as possible.
Oh no, that's really cool, especially to kind of get that concept in your head and then obviously translate it to music. So like so for you, like is it like lyrics first then music, or is it like a mix? Like what do you kind of work on first?
It's usually music and a title first, or a word that I know I want in the song lyrically and as the title by some way, if it's some synonym even. But for example, like what one concept that I talk a lot about too, even more than the higher and lower self, is inner fire. And if I'm writing, I'll be writing a song and I'll be thinking about inner fire. I know that I'm going to say that in some way, um, be that inner fire or sun within or something like that. But I'll start writing the music based off that so I can get that sound, and then afterwards I will fill in every verse, pre-chorus, chorus, middle, eighth with the lyrics.
Oh no, that's really cool. Like just just to being able to develop like that and just fill in where you need. So like for you, like how not like how quickly, but like how when you're like writing music, like how do you know like when it's done and you're like I want to record this kind of thing?
Well, I usually know when it's done when I have the choruses and verses down. Pre-choruses I have like an idea of, and then what I do is I'll just sometimes record as I'll write as I record. So like I'll just go straight to the DAW I'm working with and start recording it in professional software and laying down drums. I usually know it's done when I could listen to the song without critiquing it. When I'm like, oh, okay, that transition's perfect. There's undeniable, just cohesion and songwriting in it.
Oh no, for sure. And but also you gotta make sure like you're happy with it before obviously you release it. Because you have to be the way I look at it, like you have to be happy with something before you release it. Because if you're not happy with it, then other people it changes your kind of perspective on things.
Absolutely, it does. And my manager, being an incredible musician himself, he puts his own spin on things sometimes and says, let's do it this way, or we can make the song swing a little bit instead of sounding so on the dot or something like that, and it winds up being extraordinary from his input too.
Oh no, definitely for sure. I do got just one more topic I did want to cover about music, and I got a few other things I did want to cover with you. But like for you, for the Wolf, what was like the biggest like edit or change that was made from like the concept of the song like to the finished product?
I think the biggest the biggest change was something that was destined to happen, because I my being the voice of my project, but it was intimidating too because Keith Wallen's voice is astonishing, but his voice was on the song first, so that I could go into the studio and sing it myself. But to keep up with someone of that level, that was a lot. Um, uh, people know me more from my baritone vocals and alto and stuff like that, but I was able to do it, and I like that register for myself.
Oh no, for sure. It came out amazing, and it's very interesting. So Keith, had the vocals first for it, and Keith, Breaking Benjamin, amazing band, and to kind of to be obviously not only to work with him, but also to sing, but have his voice originally, probably a little bit of a challenge for it as well.
Absolutely. I mean, all we had, he had this full studio. I have a full studio now set up, but at that time I just had my grand piano. And we would just go back and forth until we had this thing written, true entity.
Oh no, for sure. And again, The Wolf currently out, available right now. The music video is on YouTube. I will leave some links for The Wolf in the description. Make sure to check it out because I'm a huge fan. And Wes, so like obviously The Wolf, brand new single. When we're gonna expect more music from Wes Cage.
Absolutely. I have about 6 songs that I would like to transfer into the Wes Cage album, and just more songs that and to write more as well. So I really feel like I could get something together that would be current and have a lot of diversity as well.
All right, on. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to more new music. If it's anything like The Wolf, I'm super excited to hear more new music from you.
Thank you so much.
So I do just got a few more things I did want to cover real quick, and then we'll be closing out this interview. But so obviously I read that you were also an actor. So for you, like I saw some of the roles you played in some of the movies. What's been some of your favorite roles as an actor?
Oh, one of the best roles I've ever played was a character named Adrian Rybakov from a movie called Assault on VA-33, and that was with Michael Jai White and Sean Patrick Flannery. I played a Russian terrorist that had a syndicate of fellow terrorists that were all about getting money in their mission, but all I wanted was the safety of my brother, and it kind of made him a different breed of villain because he technically just he didn't want the money. So it was almost like he wasn't, he would do things in a inappropriate way, but he was a good man somewhere that got taken over by PTSD, and the lead has PTSD and is in a VA hospital. So people say it's like Die Hard in the hospital, pretty much. And it's a pretty intense film. That's one of my favorite characters I've ever played. And then I did a movie called D-Day. I think it's a good reference. I mean, maybe some kids studying the Battle of Normandy or something like that about World War II, if they find that and watch it, it would be educational for these people in the future. But I played a guy named Lieutenant Colonel Rudder who really existed, and I was playing someone who's much more strategic and organized than myself, and way more mature than I am. And I really had to do a lot of meditation and sell it to where, and it works. It worked. I was calling people older than me son, and they were like, looking at me like I was their dad in a way. So it was intense, but transformative.
Oh no, yeah, for sure, definitely. And so for roles like that, where's a different character than yourself, but also more intense as well. Like how do you prepare for roles like that?
For that, I really rely on my spirituality meditations to help me, and kind of my awareness of the character and the story to really help me do things naturally, almost like an instinct. But then I also do a tremendous amount of research, especially with, sometimes like what I'll do is like for intensity, like you asked about, like for the character Adrian, there's no scene that shows this, but I just wanted to pretend like I have my own false memory, a real memory for the character, but I made up the memory that my character, had like an issue in Chechnya when he was a Russian soldier that caused some severe trauma, and I kind of tried to imagine that and show see how that would translate on the camera if someone could see that I had some tension in me because of that, almost like he was ruminating.
That is really cool, and very dedicated to the acting role and the character itself, to create something like that, and then to kind of evolve, not evolve, but kind of move forward, with the character with that false memory. I like that. That's cool.
Thank you, man. Yeah, it's something I tried using a bit. One time I did a movie called 211 with my dad. It's a what do you call it? A crime heist movie about guys that break into a bank. For that, I wanted to show that that character, those guys really had severe PTSD. I've done a lot of movies about that topic, but I would kind of like think about things that were off topic, so that my eyes looked like they were like disconnected from the scene, so that I looked like I was even more of a mentally disturbed individual.
So I like those small details that like actors add to their character, because it just makes it more real for the person watching. I like those small details.
Thank you, man. Definitely, those small details and subtleties definitely goes a long way.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. So I'm curious for you, like, what has been like the most challenging role that you've taken as an actor?
Well, Lieutenant Colonel Rudder of D-Day, the writer of the film, Jeff Meads, before he met me, thought to himself, I feel very bad for whichever actor is going to play this guy because of the amount of dialogue. I mean, we're talking like, okay, A team, B team, flank left, flank right, and then sergeant this, staff sergeant that, like captain this, like literally just, it was literally sometimes 2 to 3 pages straight of dialogue and commands to military commands. And then I also had to do scenes where I would stand up in front of the, 2nd Ranger Battalion and tell them, tell them the plan and what we're going to do. And it was literally nonstop. So dialogue wise, that would be the hardest. But recently I've, let's think more recently. I speak pretty good Russian, but not enough to where I'm like, I can say I'm fluent still or anything like that. But I did do a movie with my friend James Kolembresik, with Jean-Claude Van Damme earlier this year, and I did have to improv in Russian, which was a little like, oh my god, can I do that? And I was able to do it.
Nice. Yeah, being put on the spotlight that to improv, especially in a language not your native language, that's definitely on the spot. Very challenging.
Very, very challenging, and Russian is such a there's some sounds, some letters that other languages that aren't Slavic don't really put together, and it's like, especially letters that aren't vowels, so many of those being together, it's definitely exhausting sometimes.
Well, I bet for sure. For sure. So I'm curious, do you have any more acting roles coming up in the next few years?
Yes, I've also written 2 scripts with my fiance, Melinda, who's the most profound being I've ever met, and the woman I've always been looking for. We wrote those 2 scripts, and then we also have some other things in the works I'm trying to get made.
All right. Well, I definitely look forward, obviously with the music side, but also more acting roles as well for us. So I definitely look forward. So as I'm closing out this interview, like what are the plans for 2024 for Wes Cage?
For 2024, would be definitely more music, and getting on the into playing some concerts, as well as getting merch available. What else? And then a lot of films. It's amazing how the acting propels the music, and the music propels the acting into different heights.
They definitely work, together. Obviously, building one builds the other kind of thing. So I definitely look forward to. I'd love to see. Hopefully, get some live shows. Love to see you in concert. I think that would be awesome. So definitely look forward to seeing how 2024 goes for you. And I do wish you the best for 2024. And I look forward to more new music and more movies as well.
Thank you, brother. Blessings to you, and best 2024 for you as well.
Thank you so much. And last thing before I sign off, so for everyone watching and listening, where are the best places to find Wes Cage online?
Well, I keep my Instagram like an active domain of just nonstop content and music and acting. So at Weston Cage Coppola on Instagram. Also, YouTube has the video officially from Pavement, The Wolf. Interviews can be found usually there. Podcasts, and then iTunes and Spotify.
Right on. I will leave some links for Wes Cage in the description. As I said, make sure to check out and support him. Wes, thank you so much for hanging out. I had a fantastic time chatting with you.
I had a fantastic time as well. Feelings mutual, brother. Thank you.
Very welcome. For Wes Cage, I'm your host as always, Matthew Thomas. Thank you so much for watching and listening to Super Cool Radio. And remember, stay frosty.